So this is the craft knife that we use at school a lot. Has a retractable blade, okay, ergonomic handle, and my question to you this morning very quickly, is the handle made from a thermoplastic or from a thermoset plastic? Give you a moment to think about that one. Well, if we remember that a thermoplastic, if we were to reapply heat to it, it will try to deform and perhaps go back to its original shape. That would make this knife very dangerous, so we don't want to expose that blade once it's been retracted. So it is in fact a thermoset plastic. So once it's set in position, that's it. It'd be very difficult to recycle, but technology is looking at ways of recycling thermoset plastics. So what we're going to look at today are craft knives, marking out on card for your modelling, and also acrylic. Can we cut acrylic with a craft knife? And I'm going to show you that we can. So on my card, I'm conscious that this is a machined edge. So it's cut by a machine, and this also is a machined edge. And when we tore it off the cardboard box, I know that side is rough. So I know if I put my tri-square on here, I've got a perfect 90-degree angle. So when I do my marking out, I can mark out quite easily, not using that edge, but I go up to that machined edge, and there you are, there's my rectangle that I want to cut out. Another safety point, so when we're using our craft knife, it's got a retractable blade. Make sure that when you're not using it, the blade is retracted, and you put it in the well in the bench. That way it won't roll away and cause an accident. If somebody wants to use your craft knife, then that's absolutely fine. Allow them to pick it up from the well. Don't need to pass it hand to hand. All right, so really important you remember that. Rulers. So I have a selection here. Some are appropriate, some aren't. The engineer's ruler, which we normally use, unfortunately, steel on steel is a very slippery combination, and if I were to cut this and apply pressure, there is a possibility that the blade could ride up onto the blade and then cut my finger. So engineer's ruler, that's out. Although the plastic ruler is see-through and I can see the work underneath, that's really useful, but the same probability here, it could either dig in, damage the ruler, again ride up and cut my finger. So those two rulers we're not going to use. We are going to be using this safety ruler, and the safety ruler has a feature where we can protect our thumb and forefinger by resting it or hiding it within the trough. Okay, it's very unlikely that the knife will ride up and cut the fingers in, so that's why we use this particular ruler. Again, we know that's a machined edge, so bring it up to the line, okay, forefinger and thumb, and then just gently scroll to yourself like that. No need to cut all the way through. It's not a test of strength, it's a test of accuracy. So get a few strokes, and then you can feel I'm through onto the cutting mat. So always use a cutting mat. Again, I'm going to rotate the card so I got greater control. The other technique some people use is to put the knife gently on the line and bring the ruler up to the knife. So that's another technique you could use. I prefer to line it up with my eye, and that's my preferred method. So just gently bring it down, thumb and forefinger away from the blade, no pressure, just let the knife do the work. Retract the blade, pop it into the well, and there you are. Very easy. Again, when you're marking out, don't be tempted to draw your rectangle in the middle. This is, oh, lights! Card comes from trees. It's not a finite resource, and we should be looking after our environment. So make sure you're working on an area which is appropriate for what you want. No need to put it in the middle, okay? Use the equipment with respect, and you'll end up with a nice fine piece. Now we're going to move on to acrylic. Here in the workshop, our bench is a bit worn and rough on the edge. That's not going to give me a nice crisp cut. So what I'm going to do is use a piece of MDF, and that's got a nice straight line, nice and thick, scrap piece of wood. I'm going to bring it to the edge. Here's a piece of acrylic, and very quickly I'm just going to tape off approximately where I want to cut my line, so somewhere along here. Okay, now my trusted tri-square, another machined edge here, that's a bit curved, so I want 90 degrees. So what I can do is put my line on with my tri-square, bring that up to the edge of the wood, bring a secondary piece on, again on the line, right up to that line. This time I'm going to clamp everything to the bench. Just a little bit, but just tighten that up. Another clamp on the other side. Right, that's solid, that's not going to move. I've got a pair of safety glasses ready, craft knife. And what I'm going to do is just score along that line, just gently. I'll make several passes. Try the other way. All I'm doing is breaking the surface of the acrylic, so when I try to bend it, hopefully it will take the path of least resistance. Put the blade back in, put the blade into the well, and let's try it. So just see if that will break along that line. So you do need a pair of safety glasses for this, and there you go. Do have a nice straight line. I can clean that up, and that may be ready for glue. Might need a little bit more preparation to get that absolutely smooth. But that's how you can cut acrylic with a craft knife. This is a safety ruler, and it has here a groove or a trough. I'll put the spalling up, and your forefinger and thumb go in the trough, and then more lights are on.